Welcome back to another drawing video with me, Molly. This video is going to be a bit on the shorter side. We are continuing with our drawing from the multi-part series that I've been working through. You can find parts 1 and 2 linked in the description. In this part, we're taking a bit of a detour to change up the little gun in the drawing. So as you can see, I start off by finding a reference for a water gun rather than an actual gun, and that's the change that I end up making. I just felt like a classic little kid water gun fit the vibe of this piece a little bit more than an actual gun. So that's what I'm gonna do. So yeah, for the next 20 minutes, I'm just going to be drawing this water gun and then adding it in, replacing this more typical gun in this image. I actually think that I end up, taking the reference over to Procreate. Oh, no, I actually just went to a new file on Adobe Fresco. So yeah, it's still Adobe Fresco, but I just opened a new file so that I could work on a clean surface, not have to worry about all my layers and stuff that was going on in the actual drawing. And I just kind of get into sketching. And I'm using that reference on the right hand side there that I just found on Google. And I think I keep it pretty similar in the drawing, but I do change up a couple of things. But yeah, it's pretty basic, drawing from reference from this point. And then we just take the outline and import it into the actual drawing. How is everybody doing today? Hopefully you're doing well. If you're watching this, thank you so much. I hope that you have a great time watching me draw this little gun. And yeah, I hope you're doing all right out there in weird pandemic worlds. Hope you're feeling safe and happy, and hope you got to, talk to a friend sometime lately. I am still off of work, so just doing a little bit of work from home, doing lots of drawing, stuff like this. So yeah, it's got its pros and cons, as I'm sure many people have experienced this year. Honestly, there's not really much for me to say about my process in this video. It's pretty basic, just drawing from reference, which again is just one of those things that gets easier over time. Something that I will say in the sort of Adobe Fresco versus Procreate debate, something that I really like about Procreate is it has something that it calls, I think it's called Canvas Guide. And basically what it is you turn on this feature and a little grid appears all over your screen. And sometimes it can be really helpful to use a grid to help you see how straight your lines are, or if a piece is balanced, that kind of a thing. And I do a little bit miss it in Adobe Fresco. I feel like my lines are a little bit more wonky because I'm not using that visual reference of a grid. So if we're keeping tally, which I'm not, that's another win for Procreate over Fresco, is Canvas guides. I really love them. I love the grid. I love that they have also in that Canvas guide feature, there's a symmetry feature, so you can draw symmetrically really easily. Maybe that's something I'll show in a future video. But yeah, I get the sense that Adobe Fresco is just a bit more of a new program, that maybe they're going to add some of these features. Who knows? But I hope they do, because there's so many things about Fresco that I really like. So if they added a lot of those Procreate features, I would use Fresco way more. I think that after this little gun video, I think there's just one more video in this sort of multi-part series. It ended up being way longer than I originally anticipated. I thought it would be a 2-parter at most. But 4 parts isn't too bad. And hopefully if you watch any of the other ones, you'll be around to see the thrilling conclusion, part 4, which I should be posting in just a few days. But yeah, and like I said too, if you haven't seen parts 1 and 2 and you're interested, you can find links to them below. I'm not sure if this is a helpful tip for people, but something really simple that I find that you can do to make digital sketching a little easier on yourself is if you're on sort of your sketch layer, the layer that you're intending to be a rough drawing and you're planning to go over it afterwards on another layer with the more final line work, I always recommend sketching in a color other than black. It doesn't really matter what color, whichever one suits you best, but it's just so much easier to see what you're doing when you finally go back in for that final sketch. If your sketch layer is in orange or blue or pink or whatever, it just separates the layers. There's the colored sketch layer and then there's the black final ink layer. It's a super simple tip. It's something that probably doesn't even really need saying, but I will say it because, you know, not everybody draws digitally all the time, and maybe it's just something that could make your life a little easier that you just hadn't thought of. So yeah, try colored sketching. It works in real life too. I love a good colored sketching pencil. Colored leads have a variety of benefits to them. So yeah, if you've never tried using colored lead, if you've only ever used like basic pencils, like, you know, an HB school pencil, that kind of thing, I really highly recommend doing some colored sketches. There's just something about using colored lead that can be really helpful and can, you know, just add something, I think, to the sketch layer. Sometimes I do sketches in colored lead and I don't even want to ink them because I'm so happy with how the colored sketch looks. But isn't that just how it goes? So yeah, you can see now that I'm starting on my black sort of ink layer. I actually kind of forgot while I was doing this what it was for. I mean, like, I forgot I was going to be adding it into another drawing because I just got so into drawing this gun. So I ended up doing it a lot sketchier than I kind of intended to, just in terms of like the line weights and overlapping lines and all that kind of stuff. So I think I end up having to like clean it up a little bit after I import it into the main drawing, which is just work I've added for myself for no reason. But sometimes you're just having fun drawing and you just get lost in it a bit, and I wasn't too worried. It didn't end up being too terrible of a time to clean it up. And I think sometimes you just gotta go for it, you know, just have fun. Don't worry too much about the final product. You know, I learned a lot in this drawing, even though I ended up having to change a lot too. But it was just fun, and it's fun to draw weird objects. Like, I don't really draw spray guns very often. So it was fun to try something different and to sort of get the feel for what a water gun looks like, how it works, how the pieces have to go together to make a little bit of sense. And that's the great thing about using references, is it takes a lot of the guesswork out for you. If you are using an iPad and you're wondering how I'm doing this split screen thing, it's actually super easy. I'm sure you can find like more proper tutorials for it online, but basically what you do is in the oh my god, I'm completely blanking on what it's called. In the like toolbar that Mac computers have and iPads have, that shows up at the bottom of your screen, any program that sits in there, you can drag up to create this double screen effect. So basically you open your first program, so open, you know, Adobe Fresco, and then drag up from the bottom of the screen that little toolbar menu that has all your like most frequently used programs, and you can just pick an app and drag it up into the screen, and it'll show you that it's going to separate into two. Then you just drop it, and then you can change the size of each piece of screen using the little dragger bar in between them. It's super easy, and it's great for drawing from references because, like I'm doing here, you can have Google open on one side and your drawing app open on the other side and look directly at your reference without having to like print it or continuously switch back and forth between screens. It will make your life so much easier. So if you didn't know that, you're welcome. I hope that you enjoy. But yeah, honestly, the rest of this process is pretty straightforward. It's just me going through, tracing over my sketch. I think I do make a few small changes here and there, but it's just basically tracing at this point, which is the nice thing about doing the ink of a drawing is your sketch is already done. You've done all the messing around with the form, and you just get to go in and trace the final lines. But that being said, we're already about halfway through this video, so I think I'm just gonna leave you to enjoy the rest of this drawing. So yeah, like I said, part 4, the final part of this moth lady gun drawing will be out in just a couple days, and you can see the final product. And yeah, as per usual, there are links in the description if you want to see more of my work, my Instagram, my website, all that kind of stuff. If you're interested in, getting updates on what I'm up to, my tattoo books, stuff like that, best thing to do is sign up for my mailing list, which you can find on my website. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of this little sketch process, and I will see you again in a couple of days for the final chapter. All right, have a good one, everybody.